One cotton shirt requires roughly 700 gallons of water to be made, and a pair of jeans 2,000 gallons of water to be made. So when you put on your favorite outfit next, think about how many gallons of water you may be wearing. Fast fashion is the leading force in the fashion world due to its affordability and production of the newest trending pieces. But the production of these trending pieces comes at a cost of negatively impacting our environment, including excessive water use, plastic, microplastics, intensive energy use, and the overconsumption of clothing. Fast fashion is a term used for companies such as Shein, H&M, Zara, or even Forever 21. And the fast fashion model refers to cheaply produced clothing that is sold at also cheap prices. And the trend replication timeline from the runway to in-store being able to be consumed by consumers is just 15 days. And although fast fashion may seem positive from the consumer point of view because of the fast trend replication and the affordability, it is a leader negatively impacting our environment. In the 2015 documentary, The True Cost, the average American produces 82 gallons of textile waste every single year, and the world has over 400% more consumption than just 20 years ago in regards to clothing garments. And while recycling seems like the reasonable answer to deal with all of this, it can become very costly with fabrics that have embellishments such as sequins or even zippers, and is also very time-consuming to do. And because of the lack of textile recycling, over 85% of all textiles end up in the dump every single year. The fashion industry is responsible for excessive usage of valuable resources such as water and energy, but it is also responsible for 10% of global carbon emissions, which is the exact same amount as the EU emits, the fashion industry by itself. And the agricultural industry is the largest polluter of water, with the textile dyeing industry being the second largest polluter of water. And with the production of leather, it combines both industries together due to the upbringing of the livestock that is required, including the food, water, land, and fossil fuels. And tanning the leather after it is produced is the most toxic process due to the chemicals put out in the environment and also exposed to the farmers. Shein, a fast fashion company, is under fire after allegations surfaced of unethical business practices, such as allegations of modern slavery and violating labor laws. In China, the maximum allotted hours for a work week is just 60 hours, which is still much more than in the US. However, Shein was found to have a norm of 75 working hours a week. Audits were conducted in Shein factories around China, and it was found that although workers were also forced to work violating working hours, another 27% were found violating fire and emergency preparedness in these factories across China. And in addition to the long working hours in the unsafe factories, Shein employees earn less than $20 a week. And after an investigation, a worker was found to make 4,000 yen a year, which is just roughly $556 US. Because of seeing the destruction done to our planet by big fashion companies, Maya Pen decided at just 8 years old to make a stand. Maya Pen is a 25-year-old CEO of her eco-friendly fashion brand and is also a global activist, author, filmmaker, and artist. And at the ripe age of 8, she decided to use old scraps of clothing and fabrics and other materials such as bamboo, hemp, and cotton to give life to her eco-friendly brand, Maya's Ideas. In addition to making her clothing brand Maya's Ideas, she also created her own nonprofit, Maya's Ideas for the Planet, and this nonprofit focuses on humanitarian arts and environmental work and combines the teaching of environmentally friendly fashion, gender equality, arts, and the youth, and partners with brands such as American Eagle, Coach, and the Pollination Project, and many more. Maya believes that we can initiate change by speaking up about sustainable and ethical practices in the fashion space and conducting research and educating ourselves as consumers. And she makes it a point to say that she does not think people realize that the fashion industry is also the second largest polluter in the environment, not just in water. And this is next to oil. And instead of supporting large fashion corporations, shopping at vintage clothing stores, upcycling, and supporting sustainable fashion companies is the way to go. Like Maya's Ideas, Reformation is a sustainable clothing brand whose efforts are to further fashion while helping the environment. Reformation is a sustainable fashion company that was created in 2009 and was created in Los Angeles by retailing vintage clothing pieces. Made Smarter is a movement by Reformation that focuses on their fiber standards and material innovations and also their dyeing processes for their products. And in 2000 By 2025, Reformation's goal was to source 100% of their products from recycled, renewable, or regenerative materials. In an effort to reduce their carbon footprint and work towards their pledge to be a climate positive by 2025, Reformation traced their carbon footprint from 2009 to 2021 and then to 2025. Reformation reduced their number of carbon footprint by using better materials and eliminating other worse materials, and they decided to create their own alternative to silk, which is called NEA, which does not include carbon, so it does not need carbon to be produced. They also conduct energy audits for their factory and retail to manage energy use and use cargo ships for transportation rather than air travel. Fast fashion is the leading force in the fashion world due to its affordability and production of the newest trends, but this production of these newest trends comes at the cost of negatively impacting our environment. Other issues in the fashion industry present themselves as harsh or unfair working conditions. Individuals and companies such as Maya Penn, the CEO of Maya's Ideas, and Reformation are working to make the fashion industry a cleaner place for our planet. Next time you throw on your favorite outfit, remember that you could be wearing over 2,000 gallons of water just in your jeans. And just remember that without change to the fashion industry, emissions from the textile manufacturing alone are projected to skyrocket by 60% by 2030. And we are already in 2025.